Okay, my friends, this is a very significant day. I have been researching both cancer and COVID and virtually all diseases. And I have come to some conclusions based on research, and I'm a researcher only. I'm not telling you to do or don't do anything whatsoever. I am reporting on the research. And now they have realized COVID may be worse than cancer. And I'm telling you, I think it is. And I think it's not long COVID, it's short cancer. Okay, pay close attention to this. The most significant symptom is fatigue. And it severely impacts the lives, according to the study by UCLA and the University of Exeter. The health-related quality of life score of long COVID patients in the study were lower than those of advanced stage cancer patients. Impact on their daily lives was worse than in stroke patients and similar to Parkinson's. This is a devastating tsunami of disease that is about to strike. All right, my friends, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm serious. Long COVID is nothing more than fast cancer. Basically, it's the same invasion of the same sort of tissues. You see this? This is a big study they did at all these universities, Exeter and medical school. Long COVID's invisible condition. A lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people that have it, they've never even spoken up about it. Many people are left trying to manage significant changes to how they can function. Shockingly, our research revealed long COVID can leave people with worse fatigue, quality of life than some cancers, yet the support and understanding is not at the same level. Now listen to this. Urgently need more research to enable the development of evidence-based services to support people trying to manage this debilitating new condition. Let's see what might manage that, because I can tell you right now, fatigue and virtually every other invasive disease, and fatigue is nothing more than not having the correct nutrition, basically. Your body just says, I'm tired, I can't work without getting some nutrition. Well, why is the nutrition not there? The nutrition is not there because you're not digesting your food correctly, which leads to the gastrointestinal distress that is in virtually all long COVID people. All of them, 100% of them will have digestive issues. And I just talked to a guy yesterday. He said, I had COVID long before people even knew COVID was out. You know, not long before, but he had one of the earliest cases of COVID. And he's still managing. He says, my gut never came back. It's all screwed up. And that's what they say. It's all about the digestive system. Something in this COVID has attacked your bacteria and destroyed it. Now, you have to replace that. And guess what does it? Fecal matter transplants they've used, and they claim you're fixed. That's not my claim. That's what the research says. Okay, my friends, I'm just going to start it off by showing what this says. This says rapid resolution of COVID-19 after a fecal microbiota transplant. This is not my words. This is from Department of Hematology, Medical University of Warsaw, but it's all over the world now. They understand fecal matter transplants have absolutely amazing benefits that have been overlooked because they just are unpalatable, let's put it that way. Okay, once again, where are our presidential and our government officials on things like this? This is the National Library of Medicine, government officials. Fecal microbiota transplant for COVID-19. Potential emergency and treatment strategy. This is out 3 years ago. Listen to this. I'm just going to cut right to the end. 3 years ago now, don't forget. Gut microbiota disbyosis correlates with different diseases. I mean, all of them, including digestive and non-digestive ones. Also, the gut microbiota plays roles in immune systems of all types by different mechanisms like production of cytokines. As a result, fecal matter transplant can be used as a novel treatment for COVID-19. It's a new treatment. preclinical clinical studies should be conducted to investigate the safety and efficacy. We know it's safe. Does it work? Further underlying mechanisms of FMT in patients with COVID-19, especially the long ones, also developing indications for suggesting FMT for patients affected with SARS-2 should be considered in further studies. Listen to this, funding. Here's the key. This research did not receive any grant money from funding agencies in the public, commercial, or not-for-profit sectors. Nobody will touch it. Nobody will give a penny to something that could save everything and help our healthcare system, take a ton of misery off the table. And we're talking about long COVID. It's all over the place now. And people don't even realize they have it. They have it. And if they have a gut distress, they most likely have long COVID. Listen to this. It's as simple as this. We still do not know conclusively COVID-19 can cause a long-term change in gut-brain messaging. It leads to irritable bowel syndrome, other disorders, gut-brain interactions. Listen to this. Increasing evidence suggests that GI, gastrointestinal distress, lasting 6 months or longer, might be associated to long COVID. And yes, because you've damaged your gut. You're never going to get better until you fix your gut. Your body may somehow come back, but it may not. You may just live with this because probably you got some kind of antibiotics or somewhere along the line. Either the COVID damaged your bacteria or they gave you something that damaged your digestive system. It's as simple as that. GI distress, gastrointestinal distress. You just got to stop and think. It's amazing that they can just let this all slide off the table for years and years and years. I mean years. Okay, this is pretty telling right here. The health conditions of people that have had COVID-19 and did not recover quickly. Multi-organ effects involve many body systems, heart, lungs, kidneys, skin, brain, everything. People who have had COVID-19 may be more likely to develop new health conditions like diabetes, heart conditions, blood clots, and neurological conditions. Every single thing right across the board. You are just now getting short cancer. They don't realize what's happening, and this is devastating to the health of all of these people who have had COVID. And there is, I think, a quick and simple possible solution. I'm a researcher. I'm not saying do this or don't do that, but it all indicates the fecal matter transplant, which fixes your gut bacteria, will eliminate COVID-19, and pretty quickly. That's what they say. Not my words. That's the research. Okay, my friends, as I say, I don't think they understand the connection between the gut health and everything else, cancer, long COVID. Virtually every disease is linked to a dietary condition where you're not getting the correct nutrients or the correct bacterial components to ward off these invasive bacteria or invasive toxic stuff. It doesn't matter. Whichever way, it's going to damage your body unless you can defend yourself against it. And the only way you can defend against these things is with bacteria in your body that creates enzymes, that creates chemistry to stop these invaders. This is about cancer. And I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, COVID-19 and long COVID is virtually identical to cancer. Cancer is an invasion of the tissue. So is COVID. And it's a very invasive, and it doesn't stop unless you have the bacteria in your body to stop it, which is the probiotics. Now they're sort of saying, probiotics, and everybody's making claims, saying, the advertisements and claims about probiotics are very, very common now. Well, because they're working, that's why. People want a quick fix, but when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Absolutely, talk to your doctor, and they'll say, don't take them. But I went actually to a doctor, to a gastrointestinal guy, just to see what he'd say. I told him I want a fecal matter transplant. Can't have it. I said, why not? The government won't allow it. I'll lose my license if I prescribe that for you. I said, oh. Then I said, what about probiotics? People, some people take them, some people don't. I said, you don't recommend them at all? I said, no, not really. I said, you're kidding me. You don't think that people need probiotics in their body? Well, your body should be able to produce them themselves. I said, no. Once they're destroyed, they're destroyed. You people are destroying them with your antibiotics. He said, well, that's what some people say. I said, well, here we go again. Our medical system in operation. It's a complete system of denial. And it's hard for me to believe that these doctors are so incompetent that are missing this obvious interaction between the gut and the brain. It's the gut-brain axis. They know about this. Hippocrates, thousands of years ago, said every disease starts in the gut. He was correct then. It's correct now. All right, you should come up and watch this. It's about Yale obesity study. What causes obesity? Possibly a new simple procedure to control it. Obesity is primarily your body says, I'm not getting enough nutrition. Keep eating. So why is it saying that? They discovered that there's a brain signal that's turned on, but it doesn't get turned on unless you have the correct bacteria in your body to break down the fats. And then the fats get broken down, it sends a signal to say, hey, I just got enough stuff, stop eating. It never sends that signal about the fats. It sends a signal about the sugar, but not the fats, once your gut is destroyed. And this is even in twins who have identical genetics. One of them can get fat and one of them can be skinny. And the reason is because one of them had the good bacteria, one of them did not. And this is just right across the board. It is bacteria in your gut that makes you healthy. If you can't break down the food and you can't create the bacteria that kills the invaders, then you have no immune system. And when you have no immune system, if anything gets into your body by accident, it's going to invade you. You have no defense. And that's what's happening right now with these long COVID people. They're just starting to experience it as extreme fatigue. That and also gastrointestinal disorder. They all have gastrointestinal disorders when they have long COVID. And that's because they're not absorbing and the nutrition correctly. Same thing happened with the autism kids. They have constipation, diarrhea, all kinds of problems with their digestive system. Once that's fixed up, they start to improve quite a bit. We've had very good success with that. And now they are using fecal matter transplants across the board for virtually every single disease and at a glacial pace. They are going so slow at investigating this, it's a disaster in the medical industry. It is very, very disconcerting that they are not jumping on this to do the test. Well, there's no funding available. Why? You fund for anything. I saw an article the other day that thinks that irritable bowel syndrome may be due to gravity. You can't, that person can't handle gravity. I'm not kidding you. Absolutely amazing what they will fund. And they won't fund what is almost absolutely certain to work. Very, very disheartening. See this, and they know intestinal bacteria, secret to living to 100. They found that everybody that lived over 100 years old had excellent quality bacteria in their guts. They can take the bacteria from one sick person and put it into a healthy person. That person will become sick. You take the sick person's bacteria and put it into a healthy person, it will make that person healthy. They do it, of course, with rats and mice and so forth, but that's exactly what happens. You could take it from a skinny mouse and put it into a fat mouse, and the fat mouse will get skinny. You can take it from a fat mouse and put it into a skinny mouse, and that skinny mouse will get fat. They have done this and shown that it's strictly your digestive system that controls how your body reacts to all the stuff that you intake. It's obvious. It's digestion. It's removing the nutrition from the stuff that you eat. Or it is destroying the stuff that is attacking you from the stuff you eat. What you put in your mouth and you eat could have literally anything in it to hurt you. Your body is designed so it knows that and says, whoa, 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 this, don't absorb that one, and it kills it. Or it says, wow, here comes a good piece of fat. Let's go over there and chew it up so that we can put it into our body. If you can't go over there and chew it up and make it go become part of your body, you get diarrhea, you get constipation, you get gastrointestinal distress of every degree, and your body is not nurtured correctly. Then eventually your membranes, if it's a membrane related issue, it'll break right through the membrane, and then you'll get cancer. And it will be of a certain organ normally, because every organ will have a different type of chemistry and a different type of protective layer of membrane, which will house bacteria that's related to the chemistry of that organ. It might be something salty, it might be something like the liver, which is very toxic. It might be something that has to surround the blood of the lungs, but they'll all be different types of collagens, which are membranes. And there's like 28 different ones that they know of now. There's probably zillions of them, but there's a certain collagen rubbery bag that will coat every one of your organs. And if that gets broken through, that's cancer. Well, right now, your gut is so distressed from this COVID-19, we don't know anything about what's going to happen to what organs it is affecting. We do know that it affects the rubbery stuff. The lungs collapse because the springs in the lungs don't open back up. They blip, and then you need to be intubated. They got to force air into your lungs to bring them back up again. They can't go, they're supposed to be rubbery. Every organ, every part of your body is protected by a membrane. These are what are being attacked and invaded. And it takes a while to get through that membrane. So these people with COVID, they're set up now, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe they are virtually set up to get cancer. And I don't know what cancers they'll get, but it could be virtually any cancer. Because it's attacking, I believe, the membranes and the collagens. Once it attacks the collagens, it's a whole new ballgame. Doesn't, whichever one. And it seems to be the type of collagen that is in your heart, which is the rubbery stuff. Boom, 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 lungs, blood vessels. Those are the things, the rubbery things are being attacked from this COVID. And eventually it will go through those membranes and you'll get cancer. I can't see any other outcome. None. In my mind, I could be wrong, but that's what the research indicates to me. I'm not saying do this, do that, but I would like to see the government take off these restrictions from these fecal matter transplants. They won't allow you to have them. And they are safe and effective. They've been shown to be effective on C. difficile since 1978. Even 1958, but 78, 1978, that's 45 years ago, and they're still not allowed. You can't have it. And they show right now that it will cure almost anything. And I'm not saying cure it, but I'm just saying that's what the research shows it's beneficial. Let's go with that. Because there's never a 100% cure of anything. You have to do certain things to make that work as well. But the fecal matter transplant, if you don't have the right bacteria in your body, I don't care what you do. There's nothing. There's no way you can be healthy until you have the correct enzymes, which are correct bacteria. Bacteria create the enzymes. They're the factories. I mean, there is something desperately wrong with our medical. All right, this goes back to 1978. This is 20 years after they realized that fecal matter transplant could instantly cure Clostridium difficile. Now listen to this. Clostridium difficile is still a very, very deadly disease today, and they won't let you have a fecal matter transplant until you've failed the drugs. They make you take the drugs, and then if you fail them 3 times in a row and almost die, then you can get the fecal matter transplant. It's been approved now, but you have to go through their regime first, which basically almost kills you. Despite the volume of empirical evidence, it was only in 1978, 20 years after, the value of fecal matter transplant widely recognized in the treatment of reoccurring intestinal condition called C. diff, Clostridium difficile. It's a resistant diarrhea, just exactly like they're getting with COVID-19 now. In over 95% of the cases, the cure was quick and permanent. This is 45 years ago, and you still are not allowed to have these safe and effective pills until you fail the very expensive, very devastating cures that don't cure, but this does. C. difficile keeps coming back to these people. They just can't get rid of it because they're getting this overgrowth of candida. They can't stop it. Once you repopulate your gut with all new bacteria, they get rid of all that garbage and put the new stuff in. And they say like 48 hours, you're up and running. Now, we're talking about long COVID. All right, this is Clostridium difficile. Well, what does fecal matter transplant do for long COVID or COVID at all? Let's see. I mean, see, even for depression, they're using fecal matter transplant. It's everything. Everything in you is chemistry. The chemistry is only created by the enzymes. The enzymes are only created by the bacteria. It's not a hard understanding, but you got to stop and think. Here it is right here. Is fecal matter transplant safe? Absolutely. Even in high-risk patients. Generally considered safe and well tolerated, even in high-risk patients. This is the government statement. This isn't my words. This is the National Institute of Health. All right, I got to be honest. I'm getting really tired of doing this and having nobody listen, nobody pay attention, nobody respond. I'm just getting tired of it. This is actually showing the interaction between the bacteria in the immune cells that are scooping up all these little bacteria and moving them around through your body to attack the invaders. They can actually watch this happening now. You see this? These are the watch.
In real time, focusing only on the crawling immune cells, we've noticed two classes of them. One seemed was not hungry at all, but it was very active in terms of trying to figure out.
Hold on, what? You see what he's showing here? See this? All right, I don't see any reason to play this all. This is long. It's over an hour. But this gives you every detail about these diseases. It shows where the bacteria is supposed to live. It shows what the bacteria are supposed to look like. It shows the products that the bacteria produce, which are enzymes. The enzymes attack and destroy the tumors that are breaking through your membranes. It's all about this, and this is about the ribosomes and the transcription RNA and the messenger RNAs and ribosomes and how they're all made of amino acids and polypeptides, and I go through everything about the digestive system, about all the different layers of the digestive system, all the different types of digestive tissues, about what's inside all of these tubes and the different absorptive things. The Peyer's patches, nobody knows about those. They only last between the ages of 15 and 25, and then they decline. Those are the things that make you healthy. And they're in your digestive system. Everything is related to digestion. I don't know what this is, but this is about the Peyer's patches. My point is that if you don't have good digestion, I don't care what you do, you will never, ever, ever be healthy. Your poop is the key to your health. Okay, once again, not my words. This is about autism and fecal matter transplant. Very, very beneficial. And it'll last a long time. And all the kids with autism have pretty much, all of them have digestive disorders. It's ubiquitous in that disease. And it's ubiquitous virtually in every invasive disease. People don't realize that they're getting cancer, and they say, my gut bothers me a lot, but it's not that, I can live with it. No, you can't. You die with it. It's invasion and destruction of tissues due to not being able to absorb the correct nutrition or not having the correct bacteria to break down the foods and so forth so that you can get the nutrition. And then eventually your membrane is broken through and you're attacked and you get cancer. Now, right now, the people with long COVID, their membranes are just being destroyed. So they're just on the edge of getting cancer. As far as I'm concerned, I see this as going to be a very, very, very serious issue, this long COVID. Because all it is telling me is their membranes are failing. When your membranes fail, you become a target for invasion. Your membranes are there to protect you from invading molecule, bacteria, whatever it is, toxins and so forth. They protect all of your organs, all of your tissues. There's a membrane around every single thing. Even your red blood cells have membranes. They won't allow these things in. Well, once you destroy those membranes, you're a wide open target. That's what they call pre-existing condition. All right, you're just waiting. If something gets in there, it's wide open. It just says, woohoo, we're ready to go. This guy's nothing. He got nothing to stop us. Let's get it on. And then you are gone. Some of them just, boy, you saw how fast it could kill people from COVID. And now that they have sort of semi-recovered, they've given them enough time against that invasion to sort of get by. They're limping by, but their tissues, I can't see any other possibility other than that their tissues are damaged, which is the membranes, and they're not getting the correct nutrition. And they're tired all the time. Plus, they have all kinds of diarrhea. And, this is the symptom of this long COVID. And this is not going to be good. It bodes very, very unwell for the whole world. If you're living with a gastrointestinal issue, you got an issue. It's not just, I don't feel good, I always have diarrhea, I got constipation all the time. That is going to hurt every bit of your life. Every bit of your life. Even up to your mood. They've shown that fecal matter transplant can completely change your mood, make you a much happier person. We have all kinds of issues in this country with mental problems. And mental issue is nothing more than chemistry. You take a drug, it changes the way you feel. You take some psychedelic, you can go into Never Never Land. All of this stuff is chemistry, and it's all created by enzymes. If you don't have an enzyme, it means you don't have the bacteria. And most of the people's bacteria have been damaged, and some basically totally destroyed, especially with heavy rounds of antibiotics. They wipe out whole species, whole dimension of a realm of bacteria. Some good, some bad. You actually need both of them. But you need them in a balance. And the only way you can get that balance is once it's totally destroyed, there's no other way than to replace it with one of these fecal matter transplants. And now they have them in pill form. You just take a couple of pills. And they say now you need usually one works, one round, and you're good. But sometimes you need 2 or even up to 3. But they say, what I have heard is 3 is virtually always works. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Again, this is research. You don't just come up with an answer. You got to do research. And that's what we need to do. Okay, I'm going to show you an article in a second, but this pretty much sums it up. They say it could be 100 trillion bacteria in our bodies. They're a single cell, but tiny. These things are just minusculely tiny. But you see that little ball there, these ribosomes? That ball? That's what they squirt out. And those ribosomes are enzymes. And what is an enzyme? That's what an enzyme is. When those little balls come out of there, here's what happens. It's a ball of chemistry. So the ball comes out, that's a sheath around it. The sheath unwraps, the enzyme pops out, and it ends up being what they call a protein. Now, what does that do? It's exactly identical every time, and that's the chemistry set right there. And there is literally probably hundreds of thousands, or I don't know how many, but I think they just found 30,000 or 60,000 new ones the other day of what they call viruses. A virus, an enzyme, a protein, all the same thing. They just never understood it. It's not a living thing. It's a capsule of programs. That's a program. And it's also a molecular attractor destroyer. All of these little spots here are magnets. It's just like this. It's identical to this. Every one of these little ones has a different chemistry to it. These are all the little amino acids. There's 20 of them. And they can only arrange in certain ways. And they do. And when they come out, they make this. And if one of these things isn't in the right place, even one, I believe, that's my take on it, it won't work. It won't work at all. So if you need that enzyme to break something down or to invade something, it's not there because the bacteria is not there. This is what happens when you get toxic chemistry, bad water, a lot of things can invade and kill the bacteria. If the bacteria is there, the ball doesn't come out. If the ball doesn't come out, you don't have the sheath. If you don't have the sheath, you don't have the enzyme. You don't have the enzyme, you don't have the protein. You don't have that. The chemistry is supposed to be done by that, created by your body. They know these things. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know how they've missed understanding that you got to fix the bacteria before you're going to get any of this other stuff. This is what bothers me, is how they could miss all this stuff. It's hard to understand. Here's where you learn a lot of stuff. This is a place they make cleaning stuff. They're talking, what's the difference between enzymes and bacteria? And they say that there's much confusion in our industry between enzymes and bacteria. Some products use enzymes in the name when the product actually contains only bacteria. The bacteria make the enzymes. So the enzymes are produced by bacteria, but can be separated and made into like suppositories and so forth. They can be separated from the bacteria and added to products independently. That's what probiotics are. Probiotics are the enzymes, basically. They do say there's some live ones, but they get into your stomach and the stomach acids, and plus they have to break through the stomach wall or through the membrane to get in to become what is called engrafted. Now, living stool samples seem to have some way of invading and engrafting, because the fecal matter transplants seem to do the job very quickly and very easily. And like I said, I think they claim, what I saw was like the three courses of this, and they're not big courses, I don't think. I really can't speak to the exact way they administer this stuff. It's brand new. They have pills now. I don't know how many pills you take and how often you have to take them, but I think it's a short amount of time and not a whole lot of these pills. And once they start to take over your digestive system, you have a problem with your stomach for a few days. Apparently, is what they say. As it's adjusting, but then they take over and you're healthy, and well-being, mood, everything. A lot of things change. So they're talking about bacteria used in their industry, and the enzymes are used in their industry. The enzymes are the catalysts, but they're created by the bacteria, which are the living organisms. They're just trying to explain it to people that want to buy something to clean something. But the enzyme is the product you need. Very, very well understood now. So here's another one. These are the people you want to go to find out, because they get things done. Bacteria versus enzyme versus chemicals. People are confused about this. This is ultra clear water. They want to tell you, we understand this. Bacteria are living cells which have the capabilities of consuming waste of different types. In your body, they have to come in and consume the waste, actually bite it up and eat it and carry it over to the lymph nodes. They can also reproduce and actually producing enzymes. Better said, bacteria are factories that produce the enzymes. That's the only way you get the enzymes. When the right bacteria are present in the right quantities and in the right conditions, they produce enzymes much more economically than people can manufacture. This is business. Now, however, the deal here is enzymes are not alive. They're complex chemical produced by bacteria. and they go through the whole thing again. However, enzymes are the chemistry sets, but you still need bacteria, the living bacteria, not only to create the enzymes, but to go out and deliver them, and to go out and consume waste and carry it to the lymph ducts and nodes to dispose of it. These are carriers as well as manufacturers of chemistry. They actually travel through this fluid-filled highway and consume waste and carry them over to the lymph ducts. And that's how the lymph system, it's a completely separate system from your blood. It's like you have 3 different sets of tubing in your blood. You have the arteries, carry the red blood around and all the nutrients. You have the veins, carry all the bad stuff back. And then you have the lymph system. Same thing, little tubes in you that harvest up the very, very fine debris and carry it over to the lymph nodes, where it has to be cleaned up by more bacteria. And whatever that debris is some of it's toxic. You got to get it out of there. Some of it's still alive, probably. Some of these viruses are, these enzymes and viruses, tiny.
Take his pill.